Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing an 8-4 Magic Origins draft. Rare is Languish. I think it is the pick. There is Consul's Lieutenant, which is quite insane. And I think it's really just between those two. There's also a Stalwart Aven in here, which is good, and a Wild Instincts, which is good. But I think the top two cards are really just the Lieutenant or the Languish. And I think I am actually going to go Languish. It's a board wipe. Potentially a one-sided one if you've got the right creatures for it. Otherwise, it does the possibility of too much to pass up here. The fact that it can just completely clear a board of aggro guys, especially if you just, whiff on your first three plays and your opponents are just curving out like crazy. Language just brings you, I would say completely just flips the board around. So board wipe, very powerful in an aggressive format, and I think we do have to first pick it here. Passing some insane white cards, which once again means it's going to be tough to get into white, but it's always tough to get into white. Okay, Reeve Soul seems like a great follow-up pick since it keeps us in black to play the Languish, and it's a removal spell. Otherwise, I think Undercity Troll is very good. I love Jesse and Thief. Gearcrafter. It kind of sucks we're passing cards that possibly are stronger than Reeve Soul, but Reeve Soul is still very good, so I'm certainly not upset about second picking it here. I would say it's at least on par with these creatures. Okay, third pick. So, Undead Servant, I typically just don't like it. Even if you end up with a bunch of them, it's a 4-mana 3/2. That really doesn't give you value until some of them had started to die. Best card in this pack is probably the Incarnate. Best card to take might be the Lightning Javelin because it's removal. Probably just take the Lightning Javelin and be okay with that. Interesting. Well, now we have Claustrophobia, Towergeist. I think someone left a comment that take removal over creatures. I'll address that. I think there are creatures that are just straight up better than removal, like Towergeist. I would argue Towergeist is at least equal to and likely more powerful than Claustrophobia. I really do think paying 4 mana, getting a 2/2 flyer, as well as one of your top two cards, I think that's actually stronger than paying 3 mana to tap something down and not have it untap. You could argue the point. That's fine. We don't really have a black... Well, I mean, Scout's actually okay, but I don't want to take it here. I think I want to take the Towergeist. I just love this card, and like I said, I actually would argue that Towergeist is at least equal and possibly stronger than Claustrophobia. I really do think getting an extra card like that is that good. Separatist Void Mage, I love this card. Otherwise, in black, we have a Bloodsucker, which I don't really like in this format. You'd have to be pretty hyper-aggressive. Glory Chaser in red, which is only okay, I think. I mean, it's good on turn 1. It's not great on turn 4 or 5. Consecrated by Blood is only reasonable. But Void Mage is definitely looking like the best one there. Okay, Disperse. Actually, never mind. Towergeist number 2. Definitely getting the go-ahead. Seems like blue is going to be open. I know I play a lot of blue, but when you're getting 6th pick Towergeist, it's really difficult to pass that up. Great. Well, we've got some good black cards now. I'll probably just take the Fetid Imp. Work towards some sort of blue-black control-ish thing. We're already on a good path. I think Deadbird Shaman is reasonable too in control, but Fetid Imp a little more versatile. All right, I love Read the Bones, and it's far and away the strongest card remaining in this pack. So, I mean, I feel like we're getting nice, clear signal that we're supposed to be in blue-black. I think it's a nice Evolving Wilds pickup. Guardian Automaton, it already seems like we've got enough 4-drops. Watercourser Tabling is some just excellent news since I really do love this card a lot. Really important card if you're in blue in this format. Scrapskin Drake, on the other hand, not so good, but I think I'll take it for now. At the very least, I think it's a reasonable sideboard card. So is Negate. but there's a chance I may have to end up main decking Drake. Hopefully I don't, since blue-black control typically wants, you know, blockers. But right now we've got a lot of evasive guys, which is good. So it definitely feels like blue-black is open. We got late Read the Bones, late Fetid Imp, late Towergeist, and late Watercourser. So feels like we should be able to make this work. All right, I guess I'll take Return Centaur. As of now, it doesn't look like I want to play it. Neither of these cards matter, so I think I'll just take the land. I'll let someone know I'd rather take a land than a green or a white card. Sure, Prism Ring. Okay. So 10 cards in blue and black is pretty good. A lot of 4-drops already, so I'm going to have to be conscious of that. Although Return Centaur is so very easily replaceable that I could probably just take it out now and not really care. Read the Bones number 2 versus Disperse number 1. Disperse is not at its best in blue-black, but it's certainly a good card. I might just want Read the Bones number 2. I'd like to find some life gain if I'm going to do that, but I actually like a couple Read the Bones in a Languish deck too. That way if I'm, you know, too slow, then Read the Bones can find me my board wipe. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to want more than 2 Read the Bones. So after that, I'm good. Okay. I think we might want the Fetid Imp just for curving purposes. Hopefully Table, Mizium Meddler, Anchor to the Ether, Void Mage, Watercourser, any of those would be fine, but a cheap Fetid Imp seems pretty reasonable. I could take the Shambling Ghoul too, but I think Fetid Imp probably just the best blocker for us. I could actually take the Void Mage, but like I said, or the Watercourser. I think Fetid Imp is probably just the best, so it deals with the most stuff. I do think Anchor to the Ether is reasonable, though, there as well, but I want to get as low a curve as possible. All right, well, I didn't want too many 4-drops, but Aspiring Aeronaut's actually a card I like quite a bit, and we do have kind of a flying theme going on right now, so although Scrapskin Drake, like I said, is like Return Centaur in that I would like to not play it. I actually think Turn to Frog looks reasonable for our deck, actually, with 2 Fetid Imps, Watercourser, Void Mage, double Towergeist. Like, every single one of our creatures currently can block with Turn to Frog, but it's actually reasonable. Maybe at tables, though. I think Aeronaut is just very good, actually. Well, Starfish is tough to pass. Geez, Duraga Invocation? I always get to play that card. Well, not this time. We're going to take the Starfish. It's a great card. Good blocker. I love scrying. All right, Willbreaker currently have nothing. Nothing that works with it. So I think we're either taking Shadows of the Past, which is a nice, actually a really nice blue-black card, especially with like Towergeist and Fetid Imps, which kind of just go away. Otherwise, there is Eyeblight Assassin as well. I actually kind of like Shadows of the Past. We already have enough kind of card draw, so the scry aspect of it is maybe negligible, but it is a nice win condition if you can survive the long game. I think Languish helps with that as well. I don't think Willbreaker looks good in this deck at all. Eyeblight Assassin is pretty reasonable. I'm actually going to take the Shadows of the Past. I think blue-black is actually where Shadows of the Past is at its best. Okay, Maritime Guard. I think Rogue's Passage could be a rough card against us, but I at least maybe want to main deck a Maritime Guard, and more likely at least want to sideboard into it. Okay, Shambling Ghoul versus Eyeblight Assassin. This is interesting. I mean, Ghoul's going to be worse on the draw, much better on the play. Eyeblight Assassin's going to be good against certain decks, but also bad against certain decks. I think picking up... I mean, I think the problem is I want to play against Shambling Ghoul less, but I also want to play the card less. Does that make sense? I think getting a ton of 2-drops is fine, though. Oh, this is tough. I mean, a 2/3 body's good, but like I said, it enters tapped, which isn't as good defensively. But Eyeblight Assassin is just a 2/2 body. I mean, there's also Massacre, but I already have Languish. I'm going to go with Shambling Ghoul on that because it's a 2-drop. Wow, Claustrophobia and Molten Vortex in here? Molten Vortex that late? That's scary, but we're going to take Claustrophobia because it's hard removal. All right, Disperse number 1. Pretty happy picking that up. Our curve is fantastic. Anchor to the Ether versus Watercourser. This is interesting. We have a lot of creatures already, but Watercourser is a pretty phenomenal one. Anchor to the Ether, though, sorcery speed removal, but it can be pretty... I think we take the Anchor here, actually. Watercourser is really good, but Anchor is actual removal, and it can be tempo, too. We have a ton of 2-drops, which is kind of helping with that. Do we have any artifacts? We have one. We have one artifact currently. Well, that's not much. Maybe we take the Cobble Brute. Hate that. I don't care about either of these other cards. Disperse number 2. Not so likely to main deck it, but we'll leave it in for now. Screeching Scab is actually reasonable in this deck with the Shadows of the Past. You can really never have enough 2-drops. We're kind of an odd little blue-black deck at the moment. We have great card draw, though, so I think having all these 2-drops is actually really beneficial for us. And between double Read the Bone, double Tower Geist, yeah, we're sitting good. This can't be worth anything, right? It's just a cool rare. It's worth a whole penny and a half, as a matter of fact. I might just want Fleshbag Marauder. Yeah, I think that's actually the only reasonable pick for us. Even Nantuko Husk doesn't seem that good for us. But Fleshbag Marauder's been good for me, and yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's removal. No problems at all with this card. Whirler Rogue, well, that's Merry Christmas to me. I love Whirler Rogue. Extremely powerful card. Instantly became the strongest card in our deck, as a matter of fact. I think now I'm at the point where Maritime Guard seems like move to the sideboard is better. But yeah, Whirler Rogue, insane. Hopefully table Deadbridge Shaman. I'd settle for a Bonded Construct for sideboard. But that's about it. Alhamerit. Well, seems fine. It's a finisher. We are a control deck. We have a lot of card draw. Survives Languish, which is not to be overlooked. Otherwise, Ringwarden Owl, which is significantly worse, although a couple mana cheaper. Nope, we're going to take the 7-drop. I've been playing a lot of Alhamerit, admittedly. Possessed Scab is great. Just a great card. There is Rune Servitor, but Possessed Scab is just insanely good. Brings back removal, which I guess we don't have a ton of. Like, it does bring back Reave Soul, though, and Languish. Alright, yeah, that's already enough for me. And Anchor to the Ether, and I guess Disperse. Alright. Plenty of stuff. I would prefer to not play... Alright, I think 3 Read the Bones is actually too much, so I think we hate something here, and I've lost to Titan Strength enough where I kind of want to hate it. Could take the Macabre Waltz, but with all the card draw we have, it feels unnecessary to me to try and go for that value. Revenant, I mean, quasi-synergy. It's not even synergy with Shadows of the Past, it's just they're going for the same plan. It does have synergy with Screeching Scabs and Tower Geists, but it's just not good enough. It's just straight up not good enough. I might just take it anyway, because I'm certainly not going to go on an Undead Servant plan, and it seems unlikely I'd need multiple Maritime Guards, but I guess the fact that I've already got a deck, maybe I do just take the Maritime Guard. Maybe if I need to lower my curve. Wow, there's our hard removal. Do we have, well, it doesn't work with Possessed Scab. It does work really well with Fleshbag Marauder. And it works with Shambling Ghoul. Cruel Revival is actually just another late Christmas-like card for our deck. What am I cutting for it? I think the Disperse. Yeah, 2 Disperse, too much, I think, in a blue-black control deck. Possessed Scab number 2? I mean, this card's very good. Bring back Whirler Rogue? Pretty insane. Now I'm at a loss of what to cut. Because I think I'm pretty sure I want to run double Possessed Scab. This card is kind of like a 5-mana Eternal Witness. You know? It's not exactly Eternal Witness, but it's as close as Eternal Witness can get in this format. I mean, it's certainly the pick since it's on color and it's our only opportunity to take it. But we'll have to figure out something to cut for it. I guess we'll take Goldforge Sentinel. I think it's pretty unlikely we'll play it. I could actually hate a Blazing Hellhound, but am I more worried about a Goldforge Sentinel? It's a 6-drop. Blazing Hellhound's a 4-drop. I mean, I don't think we're playing Sentinel, so I can just hate something here. I think Hellhound is a good card. Alright, I think Incarnate's the best card here. I've already got a Scrapskin Drake if I need to sideboard into it. Otherwise, I'm not going to play any of these, so let's just hate an Incarnate. I'll take a Negate, actually, for sideboard since we don't have one. As well as 0 counterspells, is that right? That's interesting. Mighty Leap can be annoying. I'm not going to play the other two. Alright, I'll take a Macabre. I think it's pretty unlikely I do anything with it. Alright, got a good looking deck. We still have to find a cut. It's the weakest card in our deck. It might be Screeching Scab, even though Screeching Scab feeds. But I think that might be a bad idea. I mean, I was going to say it feeds Shadows of the Past, which is true, but I can also bring it back with Cruel Revival, which seems pretty good. And it feeds Cruel Revival with other zombies, which we do have, Shambling Ghoul and Fleshbag. But, and actually, I guess, no, that's kind of interesting, actually. Like, I could theoretically play a Screeching Scab, mill a Possessed Scab, and bring it back with Cruel Revival, but that's like the only way to bring back the Possessed Scab. I maybe don't want to play double Read the Bones, but God, Read the Bones is good. What's our weakest card? I don't think it's Shadows of the Past, by the way. I think Shadows of the Past, even though 2 of our creatures get exiled, I don't think we want to. I think it's a great card to win a game with. Maybe, I don't know, man. Double Read the Bones, I think is actually fine. Everything looks good in this deck, though. Maybe I just play 1 Read the Bones, double Tower, guys. That feels like a lot of card draw. Plus, it's not like our curve is extremely low. Maybe I don't need 2 Read the Bones. Alright, I convinced myself. I think we're cutting 1 Read the Bones. I'm hoping that 3 card draw is enough for this deck, especially since, like I said, our curve is not exactly low. And Possessed Scab is like card draw 2. Bring back stuff that's died or removal. Yeah, I mean, we really do have like 5 super high value cards in this deck in terms of bringing stuff back. This deck looks good. I really cannot complain about a single aspect of this deck. I think it looks very good. So, we have more double blue and more blue symbols than black. So I think we will go Evolving Wilds and then, what would that be? 9-7, which they say as well. I think I agree with 9-7. Although I guess we kind of need we don't need double black for Fetid Imp, but it certainly helps. I guess the problem is we need more black early. Let's just do an even split. I changed my mind. I think it's reasonable to do an even split and have, because like I said, we need a lot of black early, and if I ever want to activate Shadows of the Past, you know, more than once in a turn, I'm going to want multiple black. Most of my early game is black. I do need double blue for Claustrophobia and Whirler Rogue and Alhamerit, but Alhamerit's kind of irrelevant because it's the most expensive one, and Whirler Rogue and Claustrophobia don't necessarily need to come down on turn 3 and 4, although that would be nice. Other than that, yeah. No complaints about this deck whatsoever. I think it looks very good. I think our sideboard options are decent. Negate, Disperse, Maritime Guards, Scrapskin Drake against a Thopter or a Flyer deck. Macabre Bolts against all removal, maybe, but that's about it. Yeah, I'm digging it. So here's the deck. We'll run it like this, and we'll see you round 1.